Boco the diesel engine was taking an evening goods train to the other railway. The stars twinkled above him, the air was warm, and a slight breeze ran through his cooling system. Sure is a beautiful night, he thought. Boco made it to the junction on the other railway. He organized the vans from the wagons in an orderly fashion, shunting them to their proper sidings. When everything was shunted properly and organized greatly, Boco had to ask, "Driver, what time is it?" 10 past midnight. I don't know about you, old boy, but I think it's best if we stay here for the night, Boco's driver suggests. I've no qualms about that idea, Boco replies, and he rolled out of the siding, searching for a quiet spot to park and hunker in for the night. Within the junction, rows and rows of trucks, flatbeds, and vans lay about, organized into neat lines. But among the ballast around the tracks lay heaps of scrap metals, some being the boilers and smoke boxes of engines past. These were sights Boco was familiar with. It wasn't a huge deal, though. Just life. Boco finds a quiet little siding near an old shed and puts on his brakes, shutting his engine off and watching his driver step out of the cab. "I'll spend the night in the workman's shed. Good night, Boco, old boy," his driver says as he walks away. "Good night," says Boco respectfully, fluttering his eyes before closing them. Boco rested comfortably. The noises around the junctions were a muffled metallic ambience, but Boco thought he could hear voices. 5, 6, 7, 9, 11, 18, 19. How many days? How many days? Damn it! The sound of the frustrated voice snapped Boco awake, and he looked all around. Who's there?" Boco asked. Who's there? Who's there?" the voice replies. "Nobody is here. Nobody. I am nobody," the voice eerily replies. "You are nobody?" Boco asks inquisitively, confused by the voice's words. I'm nobody to no one else, except myself, which is the only reason I could come up with why I'm here," the voice says with slightly chipper-sounding tone. Boco was even more intrigued by the tone and the riddled words. Are you an engine?" Boco asks. "Some will say so. But am I an engine? I don't know. I'm just an object, a tool, a useful asset." Boco stared in front of him and saw a shape on the tracks. The shape resembled a little tank engine. Fog hid the rails beneath it. "What are you doing here?" Boco asks. "I don't know what I'm doing here. Been asking myself that question for years." The figure of the engine slowly starts to roll towards Boco, its wheels squeaking and crying out with metallic disturbance. Boco shut his eyes and cringed at the sound of each wheel turn. It pierced the night air while the engine was still rambling. "A tool, an asset, an object. I don't even know if I have a name. If I did, it's long forgotten. But I do know what they used to call me." The yard's lights flickered rapidly as the engine drew nearer to Boco. Boco opened his eyes, and the engine was now mere feet away from his buffers. "What did they call you?" Boco asked, half shaken, half curious. "They called me..." The light suddenly shot on and lit up the engine's face, and it was all crooked, disrepaired, and ghastly. "Scarfy!" The light's bulbs burst, and Boco shrieked in horror before waking up. All was quiet, and there was no one around. Still in the siding he was in, he breathed a sigh of relief. Oh, just a nightmare. Just a nightmare. My imagination merely terrifying me, Boco thinks to himself. Boco takes in the sights of the quiet siding once more, listening to the regular sound of the wind in the rails. Enough of that nonsense, he thinks, back to sleep. And Boco shuts his eyes and doesn't wake up until the next morning. The next morning, his driver came to start him up. "Morning, Boco. Ready to head back to Sodor? How was your night?" his driver asked. "Well, it was eventful. Had a pretty bad nightmare. But yes, time to return home, says Boco. Boco's engine was started, and he slowly rolled out of the siding, leaving the tracks behind. He didn't notice the shattered glass of the bulbs from last night on the sleepers and ballast between the tracks, indicating his nightmare might have been real.